Hey boo hey, it's me, X Mayo. I'm a comedian, writer, producer, and taco expert. Also, when it comes to confidently managing my finances, your girl is a beginner, for sure. So I want you to join me on The Dough, Limonada Media's new 10-episode podcast series as I dive into better understanding the financial trapdoors that any of us could fall into. And I've fallen, I keep on falling like Alicia Keys, okay? But if you've ever stayed in a bad relationship to avoid moving out costs or just found yourself swimming in debt, you are not alone. Each week, I'll be exploring all types of financial flops and money myths that stand in the way of our financial freedom. On this show, Cash is queen. We hardly know her, but baby, we are determined to be her best friend. The Dough is out now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Meet Jeanette McCurdy. She's an author, a writer, and a big feeler. So much so that she's making a podcast all about her feelings. Jeanette's memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, welcomed the world into the story of Jeanette and all of the intense life experiences that molded her into the person she is today. But how does she manage all of the messy, hard feelings she's feeling right now? In each episode of Hard Feelings, her new podcast with Limonada Media, she'll tell you all about it. Jealousy, shame, social anxiety. She wants to laugh about it, cry about it, and work through it with you by her side. Why? These hard feelings are a big part of the human condition. They unite us all, but only once we're willing to face them. Hard Feelings is out now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Limonada.
Okay, actually, can you just pretend that you're listening to a fully complete theme song here? I got really in my head, and I tried to make it perfect, and I couldn't. So this is going to be the theme song right here. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Funny 'Cause It's True. I'm Elyse Myers. In this episode, I'm talking to America's reality TV sweetheart, Hannah Brown. Hannah is best known for her memorable stint as the Bachelorette and winning her season of Dancing with the Stars, but I personally admire Hannah because of her charisma and her authenticity. She's become an author, releasing her book, God Bless This Mess, and ventured into the realm of podcasting, hosting her new show, Better Tomorrow. So 2 things that are funny because they're true. Number 1, today I learned that Hannah Brown has 0 plane anxiety. Can you even imagine? And number 2, she still doesn't know who nominated her for The Bachelor, which I think is so interesting. All right, let's get into it. Okay, Hannah Brown, you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
I cannot believe I'm meeting you. I feel like I'm meeting like a hero. Well, I am meeting a hero. I'm dying.
Oh my gosh. I'm so flattered, but I wouldn't want it any other way.
Okay, I have a little intro icebreaker that I really wanted to ask you about, and this might seem very random because it is. Okay, so I saw like 3 different interviews of you where you talked about Grease and how much you loved the musical Grease. Am I just reading too much into that, or do you really, really like Grease?
No, I mean, if I talked about it in 3 different interviews, yeah, probably.
Okay, great.
It was my favorite movie growing up. That and Cats. Those are like the 2 things that I watched when I was little.
Were you ever in it? Or like, did you do musical theater?
No, I didn't do musical theater. My parents, I don't want to blame my parents. But I'm like, why didn't you put me in musical theater? Obviously, I wanted to do it. That's all I did as a kid.
You're like,
That's
listen,
fine.
all I'm saying is it's not my parents' fault, but I could have been in Cats, and they took that from me. So... So maybe I missed out on a career because of my parents, but other than that, they were great.
That's what when people are like, what do you think you would have been? I'm like, well, first of all, I can't sing, but maybe if they would have put me in singing lessons, maybe if they would have put me in acting classes, I would be doing red carpet things that are way cooler than what I do now. And I would have been maybe I would have been Margot Robbie and Barbie. Who knows?
It's not even too late. If you like wanted to choose to do musical theater right today, if you got off this call and you were like, I'm going to try it, I think that you clearly succeed at everything that you do. And this is the beginning of my lifelong campaign to get Hannah Brown to take up musical theater. You're just like, you know what? I'm going to go on this reality show, and then I'm going to go on another one and win, and then I'm going to go on another one and win. And it's like, I'm 100% positive you could do Grease or any other musical theater.
Elyse, I'm I'm telling you, if there's one thing that's not going to happen is me becoming a singer. Every time I'm very serious, I'm like, do you think if I just went to like, had some singing classes, like I could sing?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Every time I say that to people who know me, they laugh.
But that's just because you've never had classes.
But they laugh at the idea. So they think
you need to get some better people around you, okay, Hannah?
They're like, it's too far gone. Like, maybe let's do something else.
This conversation's now turned into me convincing you to get some singing lessons so you can fulfill this dream of yours, okay? This is happening. I'm not letting you let it go.
I could have been in Cats with Taylor Swift. Even though it wasn't like the best movie, I could have been in Cats with Taylor Swift.
Are you a big Taylor Swift fan?
Well, I follow you also on, obviously, I follow you like everyone else does on TikTok. And I loved your journey becoming a Swiftie. Yes, I try to be a Swiftie that like is not too extreme, that like I could maybe be her friend one day, that she won't be like, okay, this is a lot.
That was going to be my question, was if you met her, what do you think your reaction would be?
Well, I have met her one time.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah. I was at, she was performing at this event called Wango Tango when she came out with the Lover album. I was a presenter, and so I was backstage, and then she went on, and I was coming back, and I had somebody with me, and they're like, now's your chance. Like, they knew I was a huge fan. I'm like, she's just coming off stage. I don't know. There's the one little girl that went up to her, but you could tell she was like trying to get out of there. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it. And I took a picture, and I was like, hey, like, I think I did say it. I love you, which is...
Did she know who you were?
I don't know if she did at that point, but then I was on Dancing with the Stars. This is my birthday, which ended up being the worst birthday ever, but
perfect.
Taylor Swift redeemed it in some way. I was on Dancing with the Stars. I performed a Viennese waltz to Lover. Somehow she saw it and she tagged me, and she put it up on her story and tagged me.
Stop.
And said something about how pretty and twirly it was and that she loved it. So
how did you feel? What happened with your brain?
I absolutely freaked out. I can't believe that Taylor Swift knows who I am. Then a few months later, I was on which I'm like, saying these things don't feel real, but I was on Good Morning America, I think after I won dancing. And then the next day she was going to be there for that like series in the park where they have concerts in the park. And they knew I was a Swiftie, and they were like, would you want to stay another day and do like this little segment? And I'm like,
stop it.
Absolutely. So I didn't like get to meet her, but I was like doing some of the like stuff. But then
stop. How many good things are there going to be in this story?
So I'm thinking, I'm not going to get to meet her. I'm just going to get to be there, which was enough for me. I get to go on stage, and I took I was in a selfie with her and like Robin Roberts. So anyway, this talking about this over and over is like making my chances to being friends with her less and less and less. But I think I've been cool every time, except for the I love you. That was kind of weird, but.
Here's my prediction. Ready? You're going to take a voice lesson, and then you're going to get into musical theater, and then you're going to see the opportunity open up for you to be in Cats. And then it's going to be the one time that she's like, I'm going to go for it. I will also be there. And then you will be in it with her, and then everything will be full circle, and you'll get to fulfill your dream, and you'll also get to work with a hero, and it's going to be great. That's what I believe for you.
I mean, crazier things could happen, have happened.
I mean, you could also tell the world that your celebrity crush was a boy band pop star and then end up meeting him, teaching him how to take a shot of vodka, and then, filming a commercial with him. Anything is possible.
I mean, we're here, we're talking to each other, and you're like actually way cooler than me, so.
Well, that's, no, but thank you. I wanted to talk, I really wanted to get into kind of your background before you got onto television and before you kind of became the Hannah Brown that everybody knows and loves. So, I know that you did pageants. What about that life? Is that something you chose for yourself? Is that something your parents kind of pushed you into?
What I loved was being on stage.
Yeah.
It was like I took hours and hours of dance class all year just for the day that we got to go on stage. And then I was like,
really?
This is my thing. I just wanted to be on stage. One of my mom's friends' daughters did pageants, and I was like, oh, you get to just be on stage.
Yeah.
I just felt like that's where I came alive. And then you got to wear a pretty dress. I'm like, sign me up. So at first, I was like, I want to do this. This is fun. And then I really saw how it's definitely about the way that you look. And now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, it's kind of weird. But it was awesome. But it taught me a lot of life skills and like how to be able to talk in front of an audience and be asked crazy questions. Doing job interviews when I was just starting high school, and that was different and interesting and obviously really helpful for me later on. Actually, then I'm like, no, I really didn't have a job. I went into reality TV, so it didn't help me that much.
I mean, it's helpful for literally what we're doing right now. Like, I'm interviewing you, so
But is it? Can we tell that I did that? That I had interview practice?
You're doing great, Hannah.
Thank you.
You're doing great.
I laugh at myself a lot. I'm like, why am I saying this? I'm going to keep saying it, but why?
That's great. I think that's what makes you so like relatable, though, is a lot of people like filter what they say to feel like they are presenting like the cleanest version of themselves. And I think that you just give people you. And I think that that's why people related to you so much on the show, like on Bachelor and Bachelorette, but like just in life, like on social media. I think that that's such a beautiful thing that people need more of.
I've realized that this is just who I am.
Yeah. Okay, time for a quick break. When we come back, Hannah and I talk about what she learned from being a contestant on The Bachelor. You want to know what's music to my ears? Bread bowls. And that brings me to our beloved sponsor, Panera. Whenever I'm not sure what I'm going to do for dinner, but I know I want something nourishing that I'll really enjoy, I pick up Panera on the way home. Plus, with Panera's new Crunch Time feature, Panera will send you a reminder at whatever time you want to order your favorite preset dinner with one easy swipe. It's been an absolute game changer to make sure dinner is taken care of while I'm out running around. I'm going to start with my favorite, their mac and cheese, featuring a creamy, rich blend of cheeses. But I also like to mix it up too, and Panera makes it easy. Sometimes I'll go with their Fuji apple salad with chicken. Or I'll try one of their unbeatably delicious and hearty soups, like their creamy tomato soup. It's a classic, and I have found no soup that pairs better with their warm, fresh bread bowl. And I have done plenty of research, trust me. So order Panera tonight to get a delicious dinner in one easy swipe. Available only in iOS mobile devices. Other restrictions apply.
And for more information on clean, visit panerabread.com/clean.
I would love to take a second to tell you guys about Tara, the founder of Dreamland Baby. If you're a fan of this show, then you've heard me talk about Dreamland Baby before, but essentially it's a game changer for any parent with babies. So Tara was a new mom when she founded Dreamland Baby. Essentially, she was so fed up with how few solutions there were out there to help get her baby to sleep that she went out and designed her own, the doctor-approved, award-winning Dreamland Baby weighted sleep sack. She'd go on to be featured in Forbes for it and even make a deal on Shark Tank. So far, she's helped over 500,000 parents out, keeping their baby sleeping soundly and restoring a lot of sleep to them in the process. The sleep sack evenly distributes weight from your baby's top to bottom. Kind of like how weighted blankets help adults sleep, the sleep sack's CoverCalm technology helps babies unlock deeper sleep too. The sleep sack can be worn 3 ways: both arms in, one arm out, or both arms out. And it's made of 100% soft and natural cotton, super easy to throw in the wash, which is always important. Go to dreamlandbabyco.com and enter my code Elyse at checkout to receive 20% off site-wide and free shipping. This offer is for new and existing customers. That's dreamlandbabyco.com and code Elyse at checkout for 20% off. Do you feel like when you went into so when you found out you were going to be cast on The Bachelor, did any of those fears of like, I need to present myself the perfect way on this show, like, did you feel like the crossover from pageantry to this show helped, hurt you? What was that transition like?
It kind of goes back to pageants. From like 15 to 21, I did pageants. And at first, I had nobody else tell me how I needed to be and what I needed to do. It was just like, here I am. And that's when I was really successful. And then you start getting into it and a lot of other voices come in and then they change you. And then I was being changed because I think the only thing I'm good at is like, being authentic and being myself. I wasn't that anymore because I was just trying to win and I was watching everybody else and picking from, okay, that girl did that and she won. So I need to change my hair color to potato chip. Okay, perfect. I'm going to do that.
Chip. Is that a common hair color term in
No,
cat
it's
history?
just what my hair, that's just what color my hair was. So I feel like that's when I really struggled with my mental health. Just a lot was going on. And then I'm like, I couldn't do it anymore. I just cared a lot about what other people thought about me, and they were telling me that I sucked. So I took a break and went back to compete in Miss Alabama. I did it when I only had 2 weeks before to get prepared, where usually I would prepare for a whole year.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to change anything about myself. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll do it. And that's when I won. And so it was just one of those aha moments of oh, I am my best when I'm just completely myself and don't really have any input of what other people think I should be. And then I did the Miss USA. I didn't do anything in that. And then I randomly get this call from The Bachelor, which I didn't really watch. And I thought it was a joke. And
Oh my gosh.
was like, what is happening? But I just leaned into it and found out it was not any of my friends. I still had no idea who had nominated me. I think going on the show into my first interview, I started doing the thing of, okay, I need to be what I think The Bachelor, a contestant on The Bachelor is supposed to be. And I remember the executive producer, he said something like, I think you're full of rage. I was like, what? And I was like, no, I think I'm full of joy.
What?
It was so weird. But I do think I have this part of me, which if you watched in my season, I do kind of have this don't cross me to this certain spot and then I'm going to have a blow up on you or something. And I think he was just trying to get in my head because he knew that I was just putting on this face.
What do you think though prompted, I think you're full of rage?
Probably because I was so
He's
hi.
there's no way this girl's so happy. She's got to be mad and she's masking it.
Yeah, I think so. Which
Was that true?
I don't think I was mad, but I think I have more emotions than this weird smile that I sometimes put on my face. So I think he was tapping into that and wanting to see what I would do. And it kind of pissed me off a little bit. And that is not what I'm trying to show here. I am sweet, perfect Bachelor girl.
Did it swing you further that way? Did it make you feel even more like you had to present the happy, smiley version of you, or no?
No. I think it in this weird way opened me up to be I'm not full of rage. I said I'm full of joy, and I was but maybe there's a little tank of rage, and I pointed to this small side of my stomach. It was maybe that's where the little
Right here's the tank.
Yeah, it's right here.
When Hannah said this, I immediately imagined the same thing as the dessert compartment in your stomach.
And now that I'm close to a lot of people that was involved in that show more, they're that's when we're oh my gosh, we have something here. She has no idea. She's so innocent and pure. Let's see what we can do with her. And The Bachelor was the first time I feel I was fully myself, actually. I loved my experience on The Bachelor. I'm very thankful for that.
Was there a point in the show when you kind of chose to just step into more an honest version of yourself, or do you feel you were that from the beginning?
The first night in my first date, I realized, I don't know how to do this, because I was kind of going on that journey right before the show and in the shows where I think I blossomed of who do I want to be? I feel I've been trying to be this one part of myself, but I don't know if I can fully put on that act with cameras around me at all times. I am kind and I am smiley and I am happy, but I do have other varying emotions. And I now talk a lot about my mental health. I think I struggle with depression for a lot of my life, and still will have episodes where times are harder than others. And I never showed that to anyone else, that I can feel feelings deeply, and that usually I just isolate myself and step away until I can come back into the way that I want to be able to present to people as who I am.
Yeah.
So I was kind of on that journey myself. And then I realized when I was on that first date that I was going to have to choose what I was going to be, because I can't ride this line. It was either like, you're going to just fully go into this character that's not you and be that like pageant Patty, or if you really are like wanting to find a person to spend your life with, is that really how you want them to see you, or do you want to be yourself?
Yeah.
But what I have learned since is that show was the first time anybody had ever asked me how I felt about anything, truly.
What do you mean? Like people didn't ask you in pageantry world?
Like, yeah, like a real, like, how does something make you feel? Or how are you feeling in this moment? Or does this bring up anything from your past? Or what were your past relationships like? I'd never been asked those questions. And for me, that was so like liberating. Like, oh, you really want to know how I feel?
Wow.
However, I've learned about safe and unsafe places to have conversations like that. It was a very unsafe place to do that because it was like therapy for me, but
it wasn't therapy for the other people. It was getting information from you.
Yes. It was like, oh wow, like this girl is so innocent and like,
wow,
she's giving us some great content. And yeah, so I had to like realize that. But when I got back home, like my whole family noticed a difference in me of just like fully like being able to be myself. And I learned so much about myself on that show. You have a lot of downtime. So I was really like writing all the time about like, what do I want in a person? And how do I want the rest of like, what do I see myself like in a relationship moving forward? What have I learned in my past relationships? What am I learning in this, weird experiment relationship? And yeah, it was a really powerful time for me.
Yeah.
So I'll always be thankful for that.
Time for another break. When we come back, Hannah and I talk about her book, God Bless This Mess. I do a lot of writing for this show, and I always try to be really careful about my spelling, my grammar, and just the overall quality of my writing, but it's hard when I'm moving so quickly to check everything. That's why every single day I'm super thankful for Grammarly. They've helped me come off so much more confident in my writing, and also I just feel more confident sending emails, like all of the emails. Grammarly does more than just fix grammar and typos. With Grammarly Premium, it takes your writing to the next level. To me, Grammarly is like having my own personal writing consultant right there with me, letting me know when I'm maybe being a little indirect or less concise than I could be. It's those little checks with their software that make all the difference for me, helping me strike the perfect tone and actually getting things done. The free version of Grammarly offers instant proofreading with comprehensive spelling, grammar, and punctuation suggestions. They also offer a tone detector, but I recommend the premium version, which offers clarity-focused sentence rewrites.
You'll be amazed at what you can do with Grammarly. Go to Grammarly.com/podcast to download for free today. That's GRAMMARLY.com/podcast.
Say goodbye to those old antacid brands and say hello to Wonderbelly Antacid. If you're like me and get heartburn from basically everything, you're going to love Wonderbelly. I know that for me, heartburn and indigestion can really affect how I'm feeling and even impact what I choose to eat, which is a huge bummer. I want hot sauce, you guys. I need hot sauce. Wonderbelly's chewable antacids instantly get rid of heartburn, acid indigestion, and a sour belly using the same active ingredients as many of the leading brands. Only Wonderbelly doesn't have talc, artificial dyes, artificial sweeteners, titanium dioxide, or GMOs. And they come in these super cute and colorful aluminum bottles. Wonderbelly antacids come in 4 delicious flavors: strawberry milkshake, lemon sorbet, watermelon mint, and fruity cereal. The strawberry milkshake one is my personal favorite. It's an antacid tablet that actually tastes like strawberries blended into vanilla ice cream topped with whipped cream. And it's dairy-free. And as if the flavors weren't enough, listen to Wonderbelly's tagline for this ad: "Let's kick acid." Obsessed. You can get Wonderbelly Antacid at Target or shop on Amazon with code 20ElyseM to get 20% off. That's 20 ELYSEM, all one word, for 20% off on Amazon. it seems like you had a hard pivot, right? So you were really involved in TV and reality TV and opportunities that you didn't have as much like creative control over. And it seems like you went from like being in a ecosystem that was driving itself to you are now like creating this space that you are driving and like you are the one in control. Like, and so I wanted to know what that feels like. Does that feel different for you when you're working, when you're writing, when you're podcasting? What does that feel like?
Oh my gosh, yes, feels very different. It's weird. I think it's a lot more pressure. I put pressure on myself, but then there was a lot of pressure, of course, like being a face of like this huge machine too.
Yeah.
They both have their own types of pressure. Everything that I do feels really good because I know that I've done it for myself too, and that the community that I'm creating is a community that is mine, if that makes sense. And yes, there have been people who have obviously been there from the beginning and in the journey with me, but it's cool to have other people come and be like, oh my gosh, I read, they know me from my book, or they know me from different, like just my own social media. And like, that is really, really cool. And it's something that I have more control over, but that also gives me a lot more anxiety.
Does it?
Yes.
Why?
Because if it fails or if it succeeds, it's kind of like, I feel like it's still all on me. It can't, it is. And there is no, I can't blame something on like, oh, well, it was the edit, or it was, oh, they took this thing out, or whatever. It's like, no, like good or bad, like I have to take accountability and responsibility for everything that I put out there. And then it's harder when you have, you know, any type of response that is not what you want it to be, because it's more personal, I guess, even though everything that I did was really personal.
When you were writing, like, God Bless This Mess, like, did it feel like you were like, this is on me? Like, was it scary, or was it something easier for you to do because you were the one making those creative decisions?
It was hard on my heart. It was really, really hard. That was probably one of the hardest seasons of my life, because I think that was during the time where I was realizing, oh my gosh, I was in this situation that I didn't even realize. And like, I had nobody around me that was supporting me. And like, there was nobody to trust in this season, or like this relationship was actually like really toxic and bad. And I think that's just part of anybody's healing journey, whether they're writing a book or not. Mine just coincided with me writing a book for the rest of the world.
Especially writing a book that's about you. I'm currently writing one, and I will start a story that isn't even the sad part. I'm like, this is the funny part to get to the sad part. And that part becomes sad, and you're like, oh no.
Because now you understand where it was all, like how it actually all started.
Yeah. It is really like, I will have a deadline or something, and I'll start writing, and I'll be like, look, I'm not going to get this to you for like a few more days because this took me out a whole day.
Yes.
Like it is, how long did it take you to write it?
It took me 2 years.
Okay. Wow.
It took a long time.
2 years sounds pretty good right now, because I have less than 2 months to finish my manuscript. So that's good.
And it was, it was like the roughest 2 years. I'm sorry. I should have not.
Don't be sorry. This is what people want to know about you. It's like so real.
But as soon as that book was out, the day it came out, I felt all the weight of the world just like fall off of me, because I'm like, it's out there. Now I'm in that with the podcast too. It's like I'm the craziest person during the time of announcing till it actually being like out there to the world. Because once it's out there, you really don't have control. And weirdly for me, that's the moment where I'm like, okay, I guess
it's all good now.
It's all good now. It's either like we just see how it goes and move on. I just feel like I like kind of move on to the next thing.
You just finished that in between with your podcast, right? You just launched Better Tomorrow.
Better Tomorrow with Hannah Brown. Yes.
So how did you make the decision to do this?
I always wanted a space to have community, and always was interested in like hosting or like just having conversations with people. Genuinely, my favorite thing to do is talk to strangers and like find something that we can relate to.
The most terrifying thing I've ever heard in my life.
When I sit down by somebody on the plane, like I love when I get to like meet somebody, and I'm telling you, some of my best connections have happened by talking to the person next to me on the plane.
You are telling me that you sit on a plane and you're like, I can't wait to talk to this stranger.
Well, it depends.
Hannah, I sit on a plane and I get anxiety 15 minutes before the plane because I'm like, what if someone talks to me?
You would be like so mad. But I think I'm like very polite about it. I talk before the plane, like we're taking off, because there's that weird time, and I don't know, if they seem interesting.
It's like quiet.
Yeah, I'm just like, hi, how are you? What's going on?
That's amazing.
But then I look at them and I'm like, it was so nice to talk to you. I'm not dead. It'll look like I'm dead.
No, that's the most awkward part though, because then you're still like an inch away from them. That's my biggest fear, is you're like, okay, bye. And then you just sit. That is like my greatest fear. This is so wild to me, because this is basically the same thing as like saying bye to someone and then accidentally walking in the same direction as them. But instead of just walking, you're stuck next to them on a plane for 2.5 hours. If you're lucky, could be longer.
I guess it kind of goes back to that, like how I like meeting new people. I love to be able to have like impactful conversations with people that I maybe would have never had an opportunity to speak with.
She's a better person than I am. I'm telling you that right now.
And I learned something about them, and they learned something about me, and you just feel like that closeness.
Yeah.
I think a podcast is a really unique way to do that, because it's also long form. It's not like, you know, being a host on a show where you have like a 5-minute interview. I think the whole goal of a podcast is to find those moments in the conversation where you just feel it go on this different level between the two people talking, but then also like the people that are listening can feel that too.
Yeah.
And that is something that I'm so excited about. Just those little nuggets in a conversation that really leave you feeling better, or feeling, sometimes not even better, it's feeling seen or feeling like understood. That is what makes me excited about a podcast. There's a lot of things that terrify me about a podcast, but those are the things that like make it worth doing.
What terrifies you?
Just not doing whatever my best is. Like walking away and being like, I could have done better. That is what I struggle with most.
What are you gauging yourself off of though in that? Is there something you have in your mind of what you think you should be for this podcast?
I want to get off the call and feel like energized, but also like really at peace.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I want like both at the same time, and feel like I did a good job of facilitating somebody else to feel good and get out what they need to say.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that, if I don't feel like I did that to the best of my ability, that is where like the fear comes in.
Can I give you like unsolicited advice that you did not ask for? Can I do that?
Perfect.
So I want to tell you like the number one thing that I want you to hold on to is like, yes, it's going to be about the guests that you have, but it's also like people want to learn about this person through the lens of you. And so like trust yourself. And if it goes totally like off the rails, or if it goes somewhere different, like that's because you had the natural inclination to take it there. And that's important. And the questions you have really matter, because those are the questions people are going to want to ask too. So just trust yourself.
I appreciate that. I mean, that's something that I've, the past year, I would say has been my, like one of those like mantras of like learning to trust myself, and to trust like that I can, and that I do have, I think for a while I thought I made so many decisions that like, oh, it's better for somebody else to run my life or to tell me what to do than me run my own. And this podcast is a great exercise of that.
Yeah. Thank you, Hannah Brown. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I got to meet you. I wish I could give you like a huge hug.
No, thank you for having me. And hopefully one day we will get to meet in person.
Yes.
I'm just so excited that I could come on and talk to you, because I've been like fascinated with you. So this was a pleasure for me.
Okay, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to check out Hannah's book, it's called God Bless This Mess. If you liked this episode, make sure to give us a little rating and a review. It helps other people find us. All right, we'll be back next week with more Funny 'Cause It's True. Bye. There's more Funny 'Cause It's True with Lemonada Premium. Get access to all of Lemonada's premium content, including My 5 Questions with Andrew Rannells, which aired last week. Subscribe now in Apple Podcasts. Funny 'Cause It's True is a Lemonada Media and Powder Keg production. The show is produced by Claire Jones and Zoe Dennis. Our senior producer is Jamila Zara-Williams, and our associate producer is Oha Lopez. Rachel Neal is our senior director of new content, and our VP of weekly production is Steve Nelson. Executive producers are Stephanie Whittles-Wax, Jessica Cordova-Kramer, Paul Feig, Laura Fisher, Kesla Childers, and me, Elyse Myers. This show is mixed by Johnny Vince Evans, additional help from Noah Smith and Ivan Krayev. Our theme song music was written by me and scored by Xander Singh. Follow Funny 'Cause It's True wherever you get your podcasts, or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership.
Hey listeners, I'm here today to tell you about Lemonada Media's newest limited podcast series called Declined. This 10-part series takes you through the journey of two exceptional women from incarceration to freedom, ultimately leading to the creation of the Returning Artists Guild, an organization that uplifts the artwork of currently and formerly incarcerated artists across the country. Call Declined premieres November 27th wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, everyone? I'm Delaney Fisher, comedian and serial entrepreneur.
And I'm Kelsey Cook, comedian and, I swear this is real, a world champion foosball player.
On our podcast, Self-Helpless, we dig into everything from heartbreak to career burnout to the wild stories from our 20s and the many anxieties we've experienced along the way.
We're often joined by guests who range from celebrities to renowned health experts.
And together, we'll unpack big topics like deciding whether or not we want kids, building your dream career, strengthening self-trust, and much, much more.
So join us every Monday for an unfiltered, entertaining, and honest conversation with friends where you don't even have to leave your house. If you're not wearing pants, we will never know.
That's right. So listen to Self-Helpless wherever you get your podcasts. Yes. 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 Yes.